Welcome to The Standard, coming to you from Vancouver. I'm Andrew Dawson. Pop superstar Clay Aiken will be here to talk about his faith, his music, and his love life. And a little bit later on, Rafe Mayer will comment on the never-ending political game played with healthcare. But first, we have an exclusive interview with a member of the Church of Satan. The Church of Satan was founded in San Francisco back in 1966 by Anton LaVey. Since then, speculation and rumor has dogged the church about its beliefs and its practices. And joining me to put an end to the speculation is Jack Malbranch, a warlock with the Church of Satan. Welcome. Why don't we start with that, the name, the Church of Satan. It's a bit of a misnomer because in your religion, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really believe Satan is an actual being or an actual living person, or am I wrong on that understanding?
You're 100% right about that. The Church of Satan was founded to kind of have fun with that Satan archetype, that outsider persona, that kind of Miltonian rebel. And we just, Anton LaVey used to actually run around with the little devil horns on. I mean, there's a certain aspect of fun that a lot of people don't get about the Church of Satan, but we definitely don't believe in Satan as an anthropomorphic being at all. Satan is, to us, just that Miltonian metaphor, as I said. And it's a non-spiritual religion. We don't, not only do we not believe in Satan, we also don't believe in God or a soul or any other kind of cosmic fun stuff. One thing that we actually do call the Church of Satan is the Cosmic Joy Buzzer.
The Cosmic Joy Buzzer.
So it's just there to just put it to a lot of different kind of things that we see as hypocritical.
Well, based on what you said, it's like most religions, they talk about how we came to be on this earth and what's going to happen to us after we leave this earth or leave this form that we have now. And in your case, it's not that at all. It's all about what happens from the minute you're born to the minute you're gone and everything in between. That's what the Church of Satan is about. Absolutely,
absolutely. Because honestly, all the other religions, you know, they talk about things that they believe and don't know. We just try and stick with what we know. We're just going to roll with, you know, what you see is what you get out of life. And you know, and then trying to get the most out of that is what we're all about, is trying to extract the most, you know, fun and indulgence and excitement out of life. I mean, there's so many things to see and do. Rather than concern ourselves with spiritual pipe dreams, we are focused on the here and now.
The reality.
Yes, yes.
Are you evil?
Well, they say evil is live spelled backwards.
Yeah, well, it is true, actually.
Yeah, that is true. So, evil, we think, a lot of religious figures today, you know, think, you know, cry about moral relativism. And we're moral relativists. You know, what's evil to me might not be evil to you. And we definitely think it's in terms of the individual. So, am I evil? Well, some people would certainly say so. Me, whatever.
Well, it's funny because in one article I was reading online earlier in preparation to do this interview, someone really put it quite well, is that a cat would be evil to a mouse because, you know, the cat would go after the mouse and eat it.
Exactly.
Whereas for us, it's a domesticated house pet that, you know, we love, so it's not evil. Yeah. And I guess that's how you feel about it. It's just all based on your point of view, where you stand and how it all looks to you.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your involvement with the religion. How was it that you thought to yourself, I mean, it's obvious I don't think you wake up one day and go, you know, I'm going to join the Church of Satan. I mean, was there some sort of journey involved, or was there a key moment in your life that turned that light bulb on?
Well, honestly, it's just, I was always an atheist. So I never believed in, like, spiritual religions. I mean, I was raised a little bit Catholic, but mostly, you know, I've always been an atheist and consider myself very skeptical of almost anything. And I just was browsing in a bookstore one day and picked up the Satanic Bible completely on a lark. And it's like, what is this? This will be fun. I'll read it. And I read it, and here's this just practical viewpoint, this practical way of looking at life, and it's kind of like atheism, only more fun. It kind of has kind of a theatricality to it. And it also has an actual philosophy, whereas atheism is just like, I don't believe in God, you know.
Well, is that really the way this is? I mean, is it really a religion, or is it just a way of living your life as a philosophy, or is there really a great big difference between the two?
Well, it becomes, I think what Anton LaVey used to say is that we have this ritual aspect that kind of, bridges the gap between psychology and religion. I mean, so what we do use ritual magic and things like that, but it's just kind of a catharsis and a way to access ourselves and get more out of life. Or if we're angry about something, we might put a curse on them. Who knows? If it does something, great. If not, great again. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
We just kind of use ritual kind of as a catharsis and take advantage of our minds. And the way that kind of ritual aspect is kind of plugged into humans all throughout history. I mean, humans ritualize. They like doing it. It works for them in some way. And Anton LaVey's idea was, hey, let's take that and not have to believe in something crazy that we don't believe in to use it to our advantage.
So then if it's almost anti-religion is probably the best way to, and I don't want to necessarily say anti-Christian because you're not anti-Christian per se, you're anti-religion.
Well, yeah, we're anti-religion. I mean, it's much broader than Christianity. But I would say, Satan is a good word for what our belief system is, because it is, I think it translates back to like adversary or opposer. Mm-hmm. And Satan, everything that we believe in is everything that Christians don't. Everything that they're against. I mean, we believe in things like responsibility to the responsible. We don't, not necessarily charity or helping everybody, just help people that you like. Yeah. who are good to you.
Help
and
the people around you.
Yeah, help. Yeah. I mean, it's like almost like a family union. I mean, it's very primal that way. Mm-hmm. We believe in indulgence instead of abstinence because we're here to enjoy our lives here and now, not wait for something. And so there's so many things that when you build that philosophy out that Christianity represents that we represent the opposite of. And it's not necessarily that we exist merely as a reaction to Christianity, because we don't. If Christianity went away, there would still be the same ideas, these Christian kind of ideas. And, there are very similar ideas in a lot of religions. There are Christian kind of ideas in certain practices of Buddhism. And, I mean, there's a lot of similarity in a lot of religions. And we're against the same concepts in all of those religions.
So what happens then when all religions tell us that when we leave here, there's something more, but your religion doesn't say that. There is nothing more. We just cease to exist, or do we go to another plane?
The way the doctor put it was, we live on in the brains and sinews of those who've, respect we've gained. And, you survive on by the things that you do in life. And as far as what happens after death, we don't know. So, I mean, we just don't know.
Well, you haven't died recently, have you? So you're not able to...
I'm still alive, so I can't tell you.
Can you communicate with the dead?
No, not that I know of. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I don't know many things about the world.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to tell you that I do. I would remain skeptical of something like that, certainly.
Okay. When you have a title like Warlock, which mm-hmm. it suggests magic, it suggests Wicca, are you a warlock? Are you able to perform magic?
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody who's read the Satanic Bible, the doctor gives you it's a very no-nonsense little structure, like here's an idea, here's a starting place. But it's very based around the individual. So I could design a ritual that's going to impact me. Say if I wanted to quit smoking, which I've done rituals for quitting smoking.
Good for
you. Based on what's going to make the most kind of impact in my mind. And that's the way we use ritual magic. So yeah, as a warlock, I do magic, but not so often. Most people do magic kind of alone. It's kind of almost like meditation, but with kind of an extra flair to it, like I said.
Well, yeah, I mean, for everybody, religion is a very personal thing in terms mm-hmm. of how they experience it, how it feeds their faith, how it makes them feel. And so, please, feel free to say, no, I really don't want to talk about it if you don't want to. But can you tell me a little bit about, like you said, for example, designing a ritual? I've designed a ritual. I mean, how do you even go about doing something like that, and then what would its purpose be? Well,
Dr. LaVey did provide a very basic structure. And when it kind of has like an invocation, and then, and the ritual is fantasy. It's tapping into that part of you that loves fantasy and that wants to believe in something fantastic, like demons or Satan or whatever. And and you know, in the ritual chamber, you believe in that for just a little, you know, and so you tap into that, and so he gives a little basic structure of how you would set up a ritual, but then, you know, you're free to kind of expand on that, you know, and work from within that, you know, section. I mean, he did something really interesting. He was really into H.P. Lovecraft, the horror writer, and he did a ritual based on H.P. Lovecraft rituals, and because he thought it would be cool. and so he ran with it, and in his book, The Satanic Rituals, that's one of the rituals in there. He also worked on the idea of a black mass, which is, a lot of people associate that with Satanism. So he created a script for that. You know, and so it's kind of like, it's almost like performance art for yourself.
Okay.
You know?
But when you're talking about, like earlier we were talking about how you don't believe in an afterlife, a before life, we're just here, right. But yet there must be some sort of spiritual life somewhere if there is, I don't want to say summoning, but this kind of black magic, pardon me, magic power, or black magic if you don't mind.
Yeah,
okay.
We like that.
I just want to make sure I'm not offending anyone. No, but if you have that power of magic, that source of power must be coming from somewhere. Is it something within, or is it something you tap into from somewhere else?
I would say, personally, my guess would be that it's something that is from within. Tapping into part of my own ego, part of my, I'm talking to my kind of back brain, my subconscious, that's helping me. I mean, I like to think of ritual in one way as kind of creating a marker in time. And, rather than just saying, I'm going to change this about myself, or, I'm angry about this, and kind of letting that fester or whatever. Creating a ritual is kind of making it an event, and this is something that you remember, and it's kind of in your brain. And so, I mean, I would put it back on the self, and if there's, if it does more, then that's great. And we like to leave that a little open-ended because that kind of helps the process.
Well, Satanism, certainly from what little I've read, and granted, I mean, I've barely scratched the surface. There's so much you can read about this. It seems it's more focused on the individual as opposed to the whole, as other religions are. I mean, that's the definite impression I get.
That's the bottom line. Yeah. It is about the individual specifically, and everything else that we believe philosophically grows from that, about the individual. Like, what are you doing for yourself? And how are you making yourself happy? And so, whereas, it may be a good idea to make certain sacrifices, for, within your community or whatever, to, facilitate your further indulgence. You don't necessarily want to, obviously, I'm not going to go murder somebody because then I would be in prison and then I couldn't really enjoy my life. So
yeah,
while I would feel totally, we allow for that because it's a very human emotion, feel that anger, want to kill somebody. That's okay. But, if you do it, you're stupid. So, I mean, and that applies to almost everything. So, I mean, if we don't think about the whole, but more as, we realize that the whole exists, as far as the rest of society, and so we have to function within that. And so, it's rational hedonism. It's not just
doing whatever the heck you want, when you want. There is some structure. Yeah. And it's that structure that we're going to talk about and more about Satanism right after this quick break. And I'm back with Jack Malbranch, a warlock with the Church of Satan. Just before the break, we were talking about some of the tenets of the church, but there are some set guidelines, aren't there? I mean, there's... why don't you quickly tell us about that?
Well, I mean, there's...
If you can.
Well, I mean, they're very, one of the big things, misconceptions with Satanism, is there was a big panic in the 80s where people thought that we were taking children. We're not, one of the things is not to hurt animals and little children, because we're not really, that's not what we're about. And it wouldn't really do anything for us. So,
certainly not.
I mean, that's certainly, again, all of those things that we're against really come back to, supporting the individual and, helping you kind of have kind of a better life. So.
But would you say that these rules give you the structure that you need to be able to enjoy what others would feel are indulgences that others, or especially people of religious faith or Christians, I don't think I'm just going to have sex or with 2 or 3 people. I think I'll just kind of, stick to what I'm doing. Is that does that give you that sort of support and structure to be able to fill those needs that you have?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of guidelines. I wouldn't say, because there's no, because we don't believe in a heaven or a hell, there's no, if you do this, this will happen. There's no consequences.
Yeah.
But it's more like, don't do this because it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's basically, that's what our guidelines are kind of, and that, again, yeah, helps us to indulge in a smart way. And we do believe in responsibility of the responsible, because we feel like so many people in society kind of act as leeches on society and just blame everybody else for everything that happens. And it's never their fault. Just blame everyone and sue them. And and we're just like, if you killed somebody, your mom's not responsible for it. Your grandpa's not responsible for it. Society's not responsible for it. It's your problem. And so, we try and live by that as well. So we're not going to, run around blaming people for the things that we do. We're going to take responsibility for our actions. So if we, are indulging ourselves and, something bad happens, I wouldn't want to drive drunk. I like martinis,
yeah,
but I wouldn't want to drive drunk.
Because that would put an end to the fun in the first place, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
What are some of the indulgences that you indulge in, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, martinis is one of them.
And that's not a bad one, actually.
Yeah,
as long as you're not driving or hurting anyone else, martinis are a good one.
I do like martinis, and I love steak tartare, and my biggest indulgence personally, because I'm an artist, I really enjoy making art. That's what really makes me happy, and so that's what, and I enjoy writing, and I enjoy kind of commenting on society. So I do all that, and that kind of makes me happy. And but as far as sexuality and things like that goes, there are no rules there either. So.
Well, the church doesn't take a view on abortion, for example. It has no opinion on it.
Right.
But it does have, it doesn't have an opinion on homosexuality in the church, does it?
It doesn't have an opinion on it. It's actually pretty much the only religion that it's institutionalized, that it's accepted. And that's from way back. A lot of churches now are kind of rushing to include homosexuals, and even though they spent 2,000 years prosecuting them, and burning them at the stake and such, now let's turn around, oh, now we like you. I would be distrustful of that personally, but in our chapter of the Satanic Bible on satanic sex, it's fine if you want to be abstinent and that's in your personality. It's if you want to have sex with tons of people and that's your personality, as long as you're being smart about it, that's fine too. If you want to be homosexual, that works as well. If you want to do crazy things that I probably can't even talk about on TV, that would be fine too. Anton LaVey said that every man is a fetishist. Every man has his own kind of little crazy turn on and what he wants to do, and that could be being a monk, a monkish kind of person that doesn't have sex with anybody, or it could be someone who's, Hugh Hefner.
And one of the rules, and I don't want to get it wrong, but one of the rules was not to sort of force yourself on another unless you get the mating signal.
Right.
And I got to ask you this because I have to know, what is the mating signal? I'm a married man and I still don't know what the mating signal is. So
yeah, it can be a little bit hard to figure out from time to time, but I just think that's about consent. Yeah, really.
You're not taking it too literally. There's some sort of light that blinks.
No, it might be a twitch of an eyebrow or something.
Yeah.
No, but it's just as people who want to be able to indulge in whatever we want to indulge in, consent is extremely important to us because the adult ability to make your own decisions is something we treasure, obviously. So we try and respect that as well. So it's just about consent.
Is there anything that you've done ritualistically that you've seen, or you've seen other stuff done, and you've gone, man, that's weird? That's just odd.
I'm pretty hard to shock, but
yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I have a good pal of mine, and he's a magister within Church of Satan, and a good pal of mine. He has Teflon horns implanted in my head, in his head, and that's weird, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
So
do you have respect for other religions and other groups? Do you try to meet with them, talk with them, or are you pretty much on your own?
Well, we're very private about being Satanists because it may not be to our best advantage to be running around saying, "Hey, I'm a Satanist."
Probably not.
I'm an artist, so that's it kind of works for me. But If I was an accountant, might not be the best idea. So, you know, we aren't really big into outreach and working with other religions, and because we're very practical. We just want to be able to get along well in our lives. Yeah. So it's not about having other religions accept us.
Well, I guess what I was getting at was, but do you still respect, or even maybe perhaps even from a Catholic upbringing early on, or a sort of Catholic upbringing, as you said, as a child, do you respect at least their beliefs and understand that, yeah, I understand that's what you do. It's not for me, but I understand it?
Well, certainly. I mean, well, that's just reality. I mean, other people believe many, many things. A lot of them I think are crazy. But, you know, people believe all kinds of different things. So you have to deal with them in society. And, you know, what is. You know, they believe in that, and that's fine. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of that. We think that churches should be taxed because they're businesses, you know, and a lot of, you know, business churches aren't taxed, and they kind of get a free ride. And that's one thing that we do specifically is we function as a corporation.
Are you taxed?
Huh?
Your church?
Yeah, Church of Satan is just a company.
Okay, so it's not a recognized religion in the U.S., or it is a recognized religion?
Well, I mean, we could...
I mean, how do you get that kind of certification, I guess?
Yeah, I guess you just apply for, like, a tax break or something. I don't know how you do that. But, no, we just... it's just organized as a corporation. And it was at different times accepted by the United States military. I'm sure a lot of the more liberal governments around the world deal with it in a you know, accept it as a religion, you know, and it's protected as, you know, a freedom of religion kind of thing. You know, it's protected because, you know, it's what people believe. I mean, because there are all kinds of tiny little religions. I don't know if they all have, like, special certificates or not. But because, you know, we don't want to be hypocrites, we believe strongly that, you know, churches are businesses, and they fleece a lot of people for a lot of money, and they should have to pay a little bit on that. And so, you know, we don't really ask people for a lot of money. I mean, you can join the Church of Satan for $200. And then it's done. You never have to pay any more for the rest of your life. It's just kind of casting your lot in with the devil. And once you've done that, you're kind of on our books, and that's it. So.
Now, Anton LaVey was, and we've mentioned him a couple of times, but the forefather or the father of this church. Did you have a chance to meet him?
No, I did not. He died, I think, in 1997. Mm-hmm. And I was actually living in San Francisco at that time, but I was not interested in Satanism yet. So that's right. It's my been loss.
3 years. That's right.
Yeah. So
3 years, you said, right?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Yeah. It's been a while. But
so, for most people, and we've talked about this a little bit, is that religion feeds your faith, or at least gives you comfort, or it gives you strength, or it gives you some fulfillment. Enrichment, I guess, is probably even the better word. Does the Church of Satan enrich you and enrich your life? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, because I'm so involved in it, I get to talk with some of the most interesting people I've ever met. Our high priest is someone I admire probably more than any living person. I mean, you can talk to him for an hour about classical music or professional wrestling. And he can talk with equal gusto about either of them. Yeah. And there are a lot of people like that in the Church of Satan that are just really interesting individuals, because that's what it's about. It's about being an individual and finding out what you really like and enjoy about life. And so, I mean, from that aspect, I've gotten kind of a key to meet all these different people that I really admire and enjoy. You know, as far as the rest of what it gives, it's like the philosophical system. It's kind of, personally, it's helped me see the world in a very clear way, you know, without kind of all these you know, ideas about how the world should be, because most religions have an idea of how the world should be, and it just isn't. Yeah. And this is, you know, we look out at the world, you know, we believe humans are animals. And how are these animals behaving? You know, it's just, you know, like studying zoology. Yeah. You know, so.
Is it a belief that God created the world and then just, here we go, done, and took off? And may come back?
No. I mean, I personally, you know, it could be God, it could be aliens. Who knows what happened? I mean, no one really knows. And so I mean, there is no specific belief within Satanism that says, you know, how the world was created, because none of us are really there. So, you know, just the world exists, and beyond that, we really don't know. It could be the Big Bang, or it could be, we could be this little, like, snow globe of light that our aliens are playing with. You know, who cares? I mean, what matters is that it doesn't impact me on a day-to-day basis, you know, what the answer is. So,
if you could sum it up in just a couple of words for people out there to understand, and I know it's difficult, but I'm going to put this task to you anyway, right?
Yes,
The heck with it.
Yes.
Sum it up, the Church of Satan, what it's meant to your life.
It's just a solution for modern living. It's just really helped me personally to enjoy my life better, and you know, just organize my indulgences in a productive way. Carpe diem is very nice. Yes, yes.
Well, it's been great having you on the show. Thanks very much for taking the time to come here and sit with us today, and hopefully we'll have you back on. This is a great subject. I'd like to talk to you about it a little bit more.
All right.
Have a great time. Okay. Now, after the break, pop superstar Clay Aiken will sit down with Laurel and Tyler. Don't go away.
Closed